Hey everyone, and welcome to Founder Stack, the podcast where founders and product leaders meet modern tech strategy. I'm Emily, your host from Responsive.
Rob, and I'm Rob, engineering lead here at Responsive. Okay, let's dive straight in. We're talking about the new playbook for founders in 2025. It feels like what defines competitive advantage now is, well, it's just fundamentally different.
Completely different. That whole assemble what works idea, it's not just a suggestion anymore, is basically replaced build everything from scratch.
Yeah, that paradigm shift feels massive.
It is. I mean, we're really seeing the death of the old move fast and break things era, that mentality, pretty much gone.
So what's replaced it then?
Well, the new mandate is really product-led growth, right?
Right.
But crucially, it only works if it's supported by what we've started calling the infra-aware founder.
Infra-aware. Okay, unpack that a bit. Does that mean every founder needs to be a coder now?
No, not necessarily the best coder, not at all. But you absolutely have to grasp how the modern gears turn, how data flows, where the real complexity might be hiding under the surface.
Right, and that feels like the key distinction from, say, 2015. Back then, it was all about hiring those first engineers to build everything proprietary.
Exactly. Authentication, user data storage, maybe even basic subscription stuff. Things that are, frankly, solved problems now.
So the 2025 approach flips that entirely. Your value isn't in writing boilerplate code anymore.
Nope, it's in the assembly. It's about integrating these best-in-class modular services effectively. The IP, the real secret sauce, has kind of moved from the raw code base
to the integration layer, the connections between things.
Precisely. I mean, think about it. If you're spending serious engineering cycles building your own payment processor when Stripe exists, well, you've probably already lost.
Okay, so our mission today is really to unpack that shift, right?
Oh, yeah.
Highlight some of those common traps people still fall into.
Oh, definitely. They're incredibly common. And also give you some immediate, actionable things, quick wins you can start thinking about this week.
Sounds good. Let's dig into that separation point first. From the engineering perspective, what does that mindset shift, build versus assemble, really look like at an architectural level?
Yeah, architecturally, it's a move away from build it all to really understanding how to assemble what works and deeply own the glue. That connection piece is key.
So the advantage is architectural now.
Fundamentally, yes. We've shifted from these big monolithic server deployments to composing systems, using serverless functions, event-driven pipelines, specialized, composable APIs.
And that requires founders, even the non-technical ones, to have a deeper understanding.
Much deeper. Better technical fluency. They need to get data flow, distributed architecture, way better than maybe their predecessors did 5 or 10 years ago.
Okay, but let me push back a little from the product side. This assembly model doesn't relying on a patchwork of third-party APIs introduce some serious risks, vendor risks specifically.
That's the critical trade-off. You're absolutely right. The risk is real.
I mean, if your whole user experience hangs on 5 different external services, what happens if one hikes prices or, worse, sunsets a feature you depend on?
That's precisely why the founder must be infra-aware. The velocity gain you get from assembling usually outweighs that risk. And it's a big if you manage the risk properly.
And managing it means?
It means choosing services that are battle-tested, stable, understanding your data contracts with them, and crucially, it means you must own your core data layer, your data warehouse, your data lake, whatever.
So even if a vendor changes, your core customer knowledge is safe.
Exactly. Your metrics, your understanding of the user, that stays with you.
And that focus on data, that's what enables the product team, my side of the house, to move so much faster, right? That's the tooling advantage.
Totally. This composable architecture lets you focus almost entirely on that user experience layer.
Yeah, we have instant access now to real-time analytics, sophisticated growth tools, continuous user testing platforms, things that just, didn't really exist in that form back in 2015.
And we have to mention AI here. It's fundamentally changed the baseline for productivity. It's not some feature you bolt on later.
No, it has to be there from day one, like a copilot.
Absolutely. If your engineers aren't using AI for, say, generating content outlines or helping with unit tests or summarizing research, they're probably working at, 70% capacity? Maybe less.
It's essential augmentation. Viewing AI as just a future feature,
yeah,
you're already behind the curve.
You're already behind. Yeah.
And all this speed, this tooling, it feeds directly into the product loop, what we call customer-first iteration. today, that feedback cycle has to be dramatically faster.
How fast are we talking?
We're talking about going from a user insight, something you learn, to a launched, tested feature in ideally less than a week. 7 days max.
Wow.
Product intuition is still vital, mandatory even, but it's enabled by this faster tech stack and the data it provides.
Yeah.
If your build, test, learn cycle is dragging out 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
The market's moved on. Some leaner, smarter startup is eating your lunch.
Exactly.
But that speed you mentioned, it's kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it? While it drives that crucial iteration.
It can also drive you right off a cliff.
Precisely. Into those technical traps we see constantly. And the most persistent one, honestly, it's still overbuilding too early.
Yes, the siren song of the blank slate. We can build it better ourselves.
That's the one. Founders get sucked into writing custom proprietary code for tasks that are fundamentally modular. Things like, again, authentication, payment processing, logging infrastructure, background job queues.
Do you have an example?
Yeah, I worked with a Series A company recently, pretty smart team, but they'd spent 6 months writing their own custom subscription management system.
6 months?
6 months. That time, that capital, should have gone straight into their core unique IP, the thing only they could build. Instead, they racked up 6 months of tech debt and lost critical market momentum trying to reinvent a wheel that Stripe or Chargebee perfected years ago. And that overbuilding, it ties straight into another trap we see all the time, underestimating operations. From the design and product side, we see these beautiful, well-researched MVPs just fail because the internal operational structure is chaos.
If the internal UX for your own team is broken, the public-facing product inevitably suffers. It's almost immediate.
That's exactly right. Founders neglect proper DevOps. They don't set up clean deployment pipelines or centralized logging from day one. They sort of assume ops is just a person you hire later on to clean up the mess.
But it's not cleanup, is it?
No. Ops is the hidden competitive barrier. If your deployment process takes 30 minutes because someone's manually clicking around in the cloud console, you physically cannot hit that weekly shipping cadence you need to compete. The architecture has to enable the velocity.
And when you neglect ops, you almost always end up ignoring data infrastructure too, don't you?
It follows naturally. Founders wait way too long to establish clean data schemas, proper event tracking, consistent metric definitions across the board.
So you launch that killer feature you spent weeks building.
And you have zero objective way to measure if it's actually working, because the data is either trapped in silos or it's just a complete mess. It's like trying to drive a race car without a dashboard.
Decision-making becomes guesswork. Or, worse, based on ego, not actual insight. And you can't own that glue we talked about if the pieces aren't even speaking the same language. Which leads, inevitably, to the final big pitfall, SaaS tool overload. The Frankenstack.
Yeah. You end up stacking this uncoordinated collection of SaaS tools, one for marketing, another for CRM, maybe a third for support tickets, plus some bespoke internal database somebody built. And none of them talk to each other properly. There's no real integration plan.
And that creates huge friction internally, right? For your own team trying to use these tools.
Massive internal UX friction. Your marketing team logs customer data here, support logs, similar data over there. Engineering can't get a unified view for feature development. We saw a startup last quarter burn like 40 person-hours just trying to migrate data out of siloed systems to run basic segmentation for a product launch.
That's crazy. It completely undermines the whole product-led growth idea you were aiming for.
Exactly. The point of assembly is coordination, not just accumulation.
Okay, so that covers the diagnosis, the warnings. Let's shift to the prescription, the immediate quick wins.
Yeah.
What can founders actually do, starting this week, to get aligned with this 2025 playbook and regain that velocity? Right, practical steps. The first one is simple conceptually, but it takes discipline. The stack audit. Okay, what does that involve?
Look hard at your current tech stack or the one you're planning to build, and be ruthless. Challenge every single piece of custom code you've written or plan to write with one question.
Which is
this piece of code core intellectual property that provides unique user value, or can it be replaced effectively with a modular, composable, or off-the-shelf service-based solution?
And if the answer is it can be replaced.
Buy the service.
Yeah.
Or use the open source components. Seriously, if your engineers are spending time deep in billing logic or basic security layers or building internal CMS tools, stop them. Reallocate that time, that capital.
It's not just about saving money up front either, is it?
No, it's about reducing the surface area for future technical debt. Fewer maintenance headaches down the road. More focus on what actually differentiates you.
Makes sense. And related to freeing up resources, the next win has to be embracing automation, right? Yeah. Especially with AI.
Immediately, yes.
Yeah.
This is about increasing leverage, finding force multipliers, not just replacing people. Start using AI tools now for non-core tasks.
Like what specifically?
Content generation, maybe first-tier support triage, definitely synthesizing user research notes, that's a huge one, or even just generating boilerplate code snippets. We've seen teams boost their throughput by like 30% just by offloading repetitive stuff to smart automation.
So if your engineers are writing basic functions over and over or manually handling simple support tickets.
You're losing ground. Human capital, your most expensive resource, needs to focus only on those complex product problems that require real creativity, deep thinking, unique insight. That's where your IP lives.
Okay, so stack audit, embrace automation. What about from the product process side?
From the product side, you absolutely need to define a velocity loop that forces speed and learning. Founders have to get crystal clear on their build, test, yield, learn cycle.
And the goal is still that weekly rhythm.
That should be the target, yes. Ship meaningful features or experiments weekly. This means you have to set up those real-time analytics and growth tools today, not next quarter. The platforms that tell you instantly if a feature is actually landing with users.
Because if you don't know your velocity loop,
You don't own your pace. You can't get that rapid user feedback you need to iterate effectively and stay ahead. You're flying blind again.
got it. And the final quick win feels like it ties back to structure.
It does. Crucial structural win. Clarity on ownership. This is about your organizational architecture. You need to ask who owns this experience really early on and move away from traditional functional teams, like all back-end engineers together, all designers together.
Exactly. Shift towards building cross-functional product teams. Teams aligned around specific customer experiences or product domains or key user journeys. Because that domain ownership is key for speed.
It's absolutely key. It minimizes those internal handoffs between siloed teams, which are the absolute enemy of velocity. It ensures one team truly owns the entire velocity loop for their area, from the underlying deployment architecture all the way through to measuring the actual user success.
It gives them the autonomy and the structure to actually hit that weekly shipping goal.
Right. Both the psychological ownership and the organizational capability.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, synthesizing everything, it feels like building a winning company in 2025 really comes down to 3 non-negotiables. Yeah, I'd say. Smart assembly, disciplined operations, and an AI-first workflow.
Yeah.
And mastering those 3 frees up the headspace, the resources, to focus purely on the unique problem only your company can solve.
Exactly. It forces founders to really prioritize what matters. And what's fascinating, I think, is that true leadership today, it means prioritizing the assembly, the integration, the orchestration of services, maybe more than just scaling headcount or lines of code.
The best founders are becoming architects of these dynamic, interconnected systems.
Yeah, it's much more of an integration challenge than just a pure creation challenge in many ways.
Which needs a totally different mindset about tech, about team structure, everything.
Yeah.
So maybe the provocative thought to leave everyone with is this. If your primary competitive advantage today relies heavily on proprietary code you've written for a function that isn't actually core to your unique value prop, are you really building a disruptive startup? Or are you maybe just running a kind of inefficient, poorly outsourced IT department?
Oh.
That's a sharp question.
Yeah.
Something to really think about when you do that stack audit this week.
Definitely.
And look, we know navigating this shift is challenging. So we'd love to connect and discuss how you can build smarter and scale faster in 2025. If you're tackling these assembly and operational hurdles, the team here at Responsive is definitely ready to help you architect that future.